Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Winter Meetings. I am your host, Stefan. I will be bringing on my co-hosts in just a minute, but first, I do want to do a special thank you to our sponsor, Gunslinger Soap. Handmade soaps and beauty products made without all the junk to pamper your skin. Go to their website, gunslingersoap.com. Excuse me. Sorry. Go to their website, gunslingersoap.com, and sign up to get 15% off your first order. And always free shipping over $30. That's gunslingersoap.com. Let me bring in my co-host, the original co-host with the co-most, the fabulous, the returning Craig Newton.
Thank
and
God.
Then he used to play for the Yankees, but that's not the worst decision he's ever made.
It wasn't my decision.
Stefan Weaver.
It wasn't my decision.
Stefan Weaver is with us this evening.
Okay.
It's so good to be with you guys, and it's been a crazy week with trade deadline coming up. I'd really like to be able to raise my seat. There we go. Crazy week with the trade deadline coming up. So we are here to break it all down and pretend like we know what the hell we're talking about to try and help everybody make some sense of everything that's been going on. Really quick, though, we do want to start off here. It was announced today that Bill Russell, famed Boston Celtics player, 11 NBA championships, including 8 in a row, 5 MVPs, passed away today at the age of 88 with his wife by his side. He was my mom's favorite basketball player, and so that's why I ended up getting into basketball. I've always been one of the ones that I still believe that Bill Russell's the GOAT over Jordan or LeBron. I guess I'm one of the few in that.
No, I'm right there with you.
House now.
There with you.
I know you guys actually not making fun of you for being old, even though you are. I thought I'd give each of you a chance to say something.
Wait, I think you mean more mature, right?
More mature, yeah. Experienced, we'll call it. But I thought I would give you guys the opportunity first to kind of say a couple words. So, Craig, I'll let you take this one first. Speaking in memory of the fabulous Bill Russell.
Well, I know him as an activist. I know him as a civil rights leader, a supporter of civil rights, a sort of a women's rights, of human rights. I saw him speak in San Jose when I was 13 years old. He played at the University of San Francisco before he got into his pro career with the Celtics. I knew him as a leader in the civil rights movement, right up there with Martin Luther King and Jackie Robinson and Arthur Ashe. So my heart goes out to his family today, and the world has lost a great leader in civil rights today, and in Bill Russell.
Stefan, what do you think, sir?
Well, I'm from Boston and a huge Celtics fan, obviously. So I know him from the court. I didn't know about all that civil rights stuff until Craig told me today. So that's even more impressive.
He was a very impressive. Sorry, he was an impressive individual. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, there's always been this argument about who is better, Wilt or Russell, and if you go by who has more titles, which I don't really believe in, but a lot of people do, then it's Russell.
And if you ask Wilt would say Russell also.
And I've always, it's sat in my mind for me. And there actually, I found out the company that I work for now, one of my coworkers actually played against Bill Russell near the end of his career. Because when Bill was coming out, Jeff was going. His name is Jeff Cook. Bounced around to a few different teams, namely with the Suns. He was actually one of the last individuals drafted by the Kings before they moved from Kansas City.
That's no way.
Yeah. Very interesting.
That's like being the last person. That's like being the last person drafted by the Montreal Expos.
You mean wasn't that Mr. Tom Brady, something like that?
Montreal Expos?
Yeah, Brady was drafted by the Expos.
Tom Brady, the quarterback?
Yeah.
Yep.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, I should watch this podcast more often.
Oh man, what an asshole. Okay.
That's even more impressive.
Yeah, yeah. But, definitely our condolences go out to Celtics Nation, NBA fans as a whole, and of course his family as they deal with this loss. But moving on to talk some baseball stuff today, a little bit more what we're about typically. Let's talk trade deadline moves. I want to talk about the Mariners first because they have made a couple of moves that were just beautiful. First, they grabbed Carlos Santana, not to be confused with the guitarist, from the Royals for a couple of pitching prospects. And then they turn around and grabbed ace Luis Castillo from the Reds, somebody who the Yankees were in the hunt for. Stefan, I'll let you take this one first, buddy. What do you think this does for the Mariners as they make this clear push?
I think it really improves their chances. I mean, I think they still have Mitch Haniger coming back.
Yeah.
That'll be huge. Because if you add him to that lineup with Santana and then Castillo pitching, I mean, I saw Castillo pitch when he beat the Red Sox. They couldn't touch him.
He's gotten better every year that I've seen him. I was kind of hoping that Boston would make a push on him. Yep. But it's, I think it is interesting that he is going to make his debut as a Mariners pitcher next week against the Yankees, as long as his schedule holds consistent. So I think that should be fun to watch and see what happens. Craig, what do you think about what the Mariners are doing and the moves they're making?
On behalf of the National League, thank you, Mariners. Castillo out of the National League. Very happy.
Oh.
Well, I think I told you guys, every once in a while I go up to Seattle to watch the Red Sox when they play there. Yeah. Last time I went, they have this one little pennant hanging up there because they won one division title, and they were so proud of that. They were so proud of that. I guess I'd never been in the Boston Garden. We do have loyal fans, though.
It's it's really surprising to think about the fact that the Mariners have not won a World Series, especially when you consider that they had both Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. On their roster at one point. The late 90s and early 2000s, there was some tremendous potential.
Oh, yeah, Edgar Martinez, Jay Buhner.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, not as much Jay Buhner as the other guys, but I mean, he was there. Yeah, participation trophy for him. Craig, what do you think this does to their chances as far as how deep they can go into October this year?
I think they can go all the way. I mean, this makes them a legitimate. I mean, the American League needs to pay attention big time. Now, big time. Especially the Astros, they need to pay attention because the Mariners have got pitching that can match pretty much anybody in the American League. And
they're not going to catch the Astros. I mean, their only chance is a wild card, right? There's no chance of catching the Astros.
I think, they're going to be a wild card, but it's looking more and more like they could push to be that lead wild card slot, which,
once they get in there, anything can happen.
Is everything. Right.
Yep. Anything can happen. All they do is get a chance to get in there, and this gives them an excellent chance to get in there
and make a statement. I think.
I mean, they had a pretty good team even before the moves. I mean, they have this guy, the shortstop is excellent. Yeah. JP something.
Where's their roster? I just had it up. Give me a second. JP Crawford.
Right.
Yeah, he's a tremendous young talent. And for those of you that are watching, I highly recommend, if you get a chance, go watch JP Crawford highlights. You will not be disappointed. He is a great young talent. When it comes to when it comes to the infield, and he has already earned, at least for this season, the ability to be in conversation with some of the other great shortstops in the league. I'm trying to see where he's at statistically. There it is. All right. He has played in 93 games this season, so he's played in every game this year. He's hitting 264 this year, 5 home runs, 27 RBIs. His OPS is 713. How many times has he stolen base? Where is that at? Come on. Just trying to see, because I know he's a quick shortstop, and he's got one hell of an arm.
Oh yeah.
One of the and for those of you watching, I will say, when you're watching these highlights, the one thing that I can say about JP Crawford is when he looks like he throws like a pitcher, but he plays shortstop. And
one thing I can say as a much more mature man is that it's amazing how many good young players there are today, under 25.
The young talent in this league is ridiculous.
It's incredible.
As long as we can keep going and get more attention into the league and not have baseball die, which is goal number one. There's a lot of great young talent to be watched. And
well, you know that when Devers is the old man of the group,
right?
He's not even 25 yet.
Yeah. Well, and you know, when you look at this talent, there's so much energy that's on the field with these young guys that we haven't seen in a while. And I think that makes a difference, because that's part of what brings the energy in a game. You watch the NFL, there are some teams with a lot of talent. Watch the NBA, some teams with a lot of talent. There's no energy on the court, on the field.
Right.
You know, but when you look at a lot of this young talent, these guys are playing with passion. It's one of the reasons why I am not as big of a fan as some of the unwritten rules. You know, let these young kids celebrate and bring some energy back into the game. Because that is going to help ratings, and that's going to help keep the game going. You know, this isn't the sit down and drink a glass of brandy while you make a business deal type of game anymore. Baseball cannot stay that and survive. I know there are going to be some that don't like it. I respect your opinion. But if baseball doesn't evolve, it will die. Just like any species. You know?
I agree. I mean, as long as you're not showing people up or trying to show someone up, have fun. Yeah,
there's a line. The line of sportsmanship still exists. You know, and you know, and respect, mutual respect for your opponent. Because at the end of the day, you're both just at work. Right. Like, you know, this is what they do for work. You know, if you work at Walmart,
some of the guys that get upset at a bat flip, that's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but you know, we look at the, you know, we'll say the antithesis of the bat flip in Mr. You know, Blue Jays player Jose Bautista. As much as I support players being able to celebrate home runs, I, along with most people, was really happy to watch him get knocked the hell out. What was that, 2020? Is that 2017, 2018, when he just got leveled in the fight on the field?
Yeah, that was
great. If I remember correctly.
Place, right?
Oh, yeah. He just got laid out. That was like, okay, that was awesome.
And he got laid out by someone relatively unknown.
Yeah. Well, and it honestly, the only other thing I can think of that it reminds me of is when Nolan Ryan hit that one guy. Yeah, hit Robin Ventura in the face. Was just like that, got in the headlock and just punched him in the face like 9 times or something like that. That's the only other thing I can think about with that kind of energy that it brought me when I saw Batista just get clocked. Like, it was just great. But anyway, I also don't like the Blue Jays because I'm a Red Sox fan, so I guess that's partial disclosed bias there. Really quick, before I forget, DeGrom is set to make 2022 debut for the Mets on Tuesday versus the Nationals. Trade deadline is Tuesday. Do you think Juan Soto is going to be playing in that game?
Maybe, but I think that's like a great trade for the Mets. I mean, as far as they're concerned, when they get DeGrom back, that's like they just traded for a number 1 pitcher. The Mets fascinate me as a team because
and we still see, like the Mets of old, they'll start off really well and then they do slip back, and they have slipped back a little bit, but they've done this without their two best pitchers,
Right.
which are also arguably two of the best pitchers in baseball. And so I think that it's absolutely remarkable what they're doing in the Mets organization, and I think that there's a lot of potential that can come.
Buck Showalter.
It is possible. It is possible that this is finally the time when we get to see Buck Showalter not prepare a team to be a World Series champion after he leaves, but he actually gets his ring. I think it's his best shot so far.
Oh, definitely.
And personally, I mean, and I say that with all due respect to Buck. He's had a great impact on so many organizations. The Diamondbacks, when they first started, Buck Showalter was the coach. A year after he left, they got their first World Series ring. There's multiple teams.
The Yankees. He was their manager in, I think, 94. He left 95. They win the World Series.
Yep. It's, Buck Showalter is the good luck Chuck of baseball. Did you see that Dane Cook movie, Good Luck Chuck? You remember that one?
No.
So first of all, it's an absolutely horrible movie. I like Dane Cook as a comic, not so much as an actor. But the premise of this movie is this girl puts a voodoo curse on him, so to speak. And every time when a girl is with him, when a girl sleeps with him, the next man that she is with is the man that she will marry. And so, I don't know. Did you get that reference, Craig? Help me out here.
No.
Oh, goddamn it. Okay.
Sorry.
I was trying, but no, I like Buck Showalter. I think that he's a great skipper, and so I think he deserves it. So it'll be interesting to see what the Mets do.
Okay, so hold on a second. The guy she sleeps with, the next man that she sleeps with, she's going to marry. That's
the man that's the man that she will spend the rest of her life with. Yeah,
that's horrible.
Right? Like, and that's exactly what it is. It's always the bridesmaid, never a bride type scenario. I could just imagine Buck Showalter in a bridesmaid's dress. That just makes me laugh hysterically. Okay, so let's see what other big trades.
Well, when I think about Buck, when I think of Buck, I remember him on the dugout step of the Oriole manager. He always had a look on his face like he had indigestion, and he was my teammate in Nashville. He is the funniest. He's one of the funniest guys I've ever met.
Buck?
Yep.
I didn't know you played with him in Nashville.
Yeah, he was my first baseman. He actually led the league in hits. He had over 200 hits.
I knew he played, but I didn't realize you played with him. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He seems like a great guy.
He knows the mascot of every single college in Division I, Division II, and most junior colleges.
That's impressive.
It is very impressive.
I'm just happy I still remember the Greek alphabet from when I was in college and I was in a fraternity. Okay, speaking of the Mets, though, looking at trades, the Mets picked up Daniel Vogelbach from the Pirates he's going to be their DH probably moving forward, and then Tyler Naquin and Philip Deal in a trade with the Reds.
Did they pick up Cano? Someone got Cano, right? He was just traded.
No, actually, if I remember correctly, Cano was cut, and then somebody picked him up, and he's been playing in their AAA.
Oh.
I don't want to be wrong here. There he is. He's on the Braves. Yeah, he's on the Braves.
On AAA?
No, he's on the Braves. On the Braves.
Roster.
Yeah, he's on the Braves roster.
That guy had a great career.
He did. And And he spent a lot of time with the Mets too, if I remember correctly.
Yankees.
Oh, that's right. It was the Yankee. Because he was with the Mariners for the 2019 2020. He was with the Mets. He was with the Yankees from 05 to 2013, and then the Mariners, ironically enough, until 2018, and then the Mets the last couple of years. And then this year he's been with 3 teams: the Mets, the Padres, and now with the Braves. Has not played more than 12 games with a team this year. So would be nice to see him get a decent end. Atlanta's making a decent push. They're still going to be a contender, I think, in the postseason. So you never know. Maybe, if they're able to repeat, he gets a ring.
I agree.
Because he has one.
Oh,
because he was on the Yankees in 2009.
Oh,
that was his 5th year with the Yankees. So yeah, he's got one, but wouldn't hurt to see him get a second one. I don't know that he's a. Let's see where he's at career. What's his career batting average? Where is it at? There it is. Career 301.
That's pretty good.
Decent length career. I mean, we're looking at 18. He's in his 17th, 18th year, so he's potential Hall of Famer.
I said last week, it's almost as hard to stay in the big leagues as it is to get in the big leagues.
I mean, and you're speaking from experience there. So, Craig, why don't you think
there for 17 years? To me, you're a superstar.
Craig, why don't you think Cano is a Hall of Famer? I'm interested in that.
Steroids.
Oh, he was okay. There we go.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about that too. Okay,
3 times.
Was it 3? Yep. Really? Oh, was he using the same doctor that A-Rod was?
Yeah, strikes you out.
Okay, yeah. You know what? That rings a bell. Okay.
I mean, when Bonds goes in, all bets are off. Everybody will get a shot. I think
Right.
Bonds, Clemens, they go in first. Go in first. Everybody else after them.
Bonds and Clemens have to get in first, and I think that the executive. I hope that the executive committee this year makes that right. Because
it's going to happen. It'll happen next year.
Or is it next year that they meet again?
Next winter time. Yeah, the Golden Age committee will meet before Christmas of next year.
I don't think it's going to happen until they're dead.
No, it's going to happen.
Pete Rose won't get in until he's dead. That part I expect.
If he gets
he won't.
He'll get in as a hitter after he's dead.
Yeah.
But for Bonds and Clemens, they were too well respected by their peers.
Yep. Which
is, I think, going to be the biggest difference because, yes, Bonds and Clemens were both connected to steroids. We would take one long look at their numbers, and it's easy to see they had Hall of Fame career numbers.
Yeah, and look at their numbers before they started taking steroids.
Yeah, those were
exactly.
Even before that.
They were both Hall of Famers before any alleged steroid use happened. So,
and the statement has been made by the Baseball Writers of America. They didn't vote him in. They're going to go in the Hall of Fame. It's the only Hall of Famers not voted in by the writers that are still alive. So they made their statement. They got in their little high horses and rode off in the sunset. Even though they made all their stories and money, their papers made money off of Bonds and Clemens and other guys. When they're doing it, when there was the home run chase of McGuire and Sosa, the papers sold. Sports Illustrated sold their magazine covers. I mean, so
that saved baseball.
As a writer, I do not support my fellow writers. I don't. They're sanctimonious assholes that fine. Don't vote them in. You made your statement. Now shut the hell up.
That's pretty honest, Craig.
Here, in all honesty, though, most writers I know are sanctimonious assholes, myself included.
Myself included.
About different things. Like usually it's something irrational, like our process or something like that. They're assholes about talent and what paid their bills. They will get in while they're alive. Pete Rose will not get it until after he's dead. And honestly,
No.
with the allegations that have come out recently that he was grooming a teenage girl, that I could see pushing him from getting in even after he passes. If that's proven, of course, these are allegations. I wasn't there. I don't know for sure. But if that kind of a thing is true, that could still hold him from getting voted in even after he's dead. So that's what we'll have to see. I support him getting in as a hitter. I just, we have to stop pretending that sports is a vessel of morality. It's not.
I think I'll be dead. I'll be dead before he is. I might never find out if he gets in.
I'll get a Ouija board just to reach out to you in the afterlife and let you know.
Oh yeah, thank you.
For you too, Craig. I'll send you guys both.
Hey.
P-mail, pro-mail. Yeah, P-mail, pro-mail. Yeah, you get it?
When Selig went in, all credibility for Major League Baseball went out the window.
I agree.
Yeah,
all credibility.
Absolutely.
Put a used car salesman into the Hall of Fame.
Exactly. A liar. A lying SOB.
Huge liar. And the thing that frustrates me is they have no problem putting in the writers, coaches, owners, and commissioners that benefited from the steroid era.
Right.
Yep. Tony
but
La Russa.
The players, Tony La Russa is a prime example.
Yep.
But the players are the ones that get punished.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
It flat out doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, okay.
The Golden Age will fix that. They will correct that.
I think they have to.
Committee.
I think they have to. Okay, so what other trades? I'm kind of watching Twitter right now as well to see if any other news drops because I would love to see.
I'd like to see Manoah with the Red Sox.
Manoah, Manoah, Mancini, Shohei is a pipe dream for Boston. Shohei actually fixes. Shohei fixes a lot of things for Boston, honestly. Like, if Bloom is not like trying to throw everything but Devers and Xander, if Bloom isn't trying to throw other than Devers and Bogarts, everybody like here, who do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
Chris Sale, Bobby Dahlbeck. We'll give you both of them for free. Pick whoever else you want. We'll just
take them. Please
take them. Fuck them.
Take my wife, please.
It's.
Would Shohei? You think Shohei would play the outfield?
Yeah, that's what he plays when if he goes in to play and he's not just DHing, he plays left field. So that's how you can getting Shohei. You replace Jackie. You can replace Jackie Bradley Jr.'s bat. You don't even if Shohei wants to play the field, and somebody else is DHing, so that Shohei stays in the lineup.
Their outfielders like Verdugo and Kike. I mean, they can play any of the outfields.
Most of their guys can. Well, and with the fact that it's not entirely sure that we're even going to see Kike again this year,
right?
Having a solid piece back there would be great, which is why it would be amazing if Boston was making a play for Soto. But that's the three reported front runners for Soto right now. If a trade happens, because I still don't think it will, I don't think he gets traded until the offseason. But according to Twitter, the latest reports today, the three front runners for for Soto right now are the Cardinals, the Padres, and the Dodgers. Out of those three, I would rather see him go to the Cardinals than the others because I don't like the Padres organization and the Dodgers are already stacked. Like that's like playing Madden without salary cap mode on. Like it's just that lineup is so broken as long as they all get healthy. That's a World Series lineup.
Yeah, I don't like the Padres just because they have Manny Machado. That's the only reason I don't like them.
Why don't you like Manny Machado?
He's a dick.
Yeah, he is a dick.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, I know Pedroia was already on his way out, but Manny put the finishing touches on it.
Yeah.
With that slide. I mean, he's dirty. He doesn't hustle. And he admits that. He goes, I don't hustle.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. that Manny's slide, I know there's always a lot of debate on that. I didn't like it. There are some times where your foot comes in high like that it is accidental. Speaking from experience, but that was not accidental. It was not. Okay, so what other? Let's see here. What else?
Any more trade pieces?
Well, I'm going to look over that for just a second. I want to get you guys going. Tim Anderson was suspended for 3 games for making contact with an umpire.
What an idiot! What an idiot!
Did you see contact though? I mean, it was barely contact.
That's all it takes.
He touched his sleeve or something.
No, it was the bill of his
cap.
His batting helmet touched the cap of the umpire.
Oh,
yeah.
Can't
happen.
Go watch a video of any coach arguing with an umpire before 1999.
Yeah, I was going to say, watch Billy Martin or Earl Weaver. I mean, they've head-butted the umpire.
I'm pretty sure Tony La Russa probably charged through a couple of umpires at some point. That dude did not care. He got right in their face.
Mm-hmm. Leo DeRocher.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked extensively about Tim Anderson this year on the podcast. He's a talented shortstop, but he's an idiot.
And I like his commercials. He's got a nice smile. I love watching his swing. I legitimately like watching him hit. And that's what I said. As a person, he's kind of an idiot. I'm not a fan, but I'm a huge fan of him on the field. I think he's a fantastic young shortstop. Very, very talented. How old is he?
23, 24.
Wow.
Yeah, he's young. At 25, I'm sorry. He's this is going to bug me now. I think he's 20. I'm sorry, he's a little older than I thought. He's 29. Very talented shortstop.
Oh, over the hill.
he's passing his prime.
Yeah, trade him and get some for him.
Okay, so we talked about the Mets. We talked about the Mariners. Yankees get All-Star Andrew Benintendi from the Royals, and he also agrees to get the vaccine before they have to make their next trip to Toronto.
You guys called that. You guys called that trade too a couple weeks ago. You called it.
It made the most sense. I wanted Boston to bring him back, but I also understand why Boston traded him. And so I think they were kind of just sour on the idea. Because for those that don't know, the reason why Boston traded Andrew Benintendi to begin with was because 2018, they win the World Series. He shows up for camp in 2019, and he's bulked up and he's trying to be a power hitter.
Right.
If you look at his 2019 stats, they were absolute garbage.
But he's got 19 or 20 home runs this year, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been fairly consistent for the Royals this year.
And he's an all-star.
Yeah, he was an all-star. But at the same time, and he's a great left-handed hitter too, which is I think one of the lead reasons why New York went for him, because they needed it. They need a left-handed bat.
I think he could be a good replacement for Gardner.
Yeah, which is I think the purpose. And also because Joey Gallo's left-handed too, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
I have a strong suspicion that if Joey Gallo doesn't get traded by the deadline, they may just cut him.
Who wants him?
No, that's the thing, is you can't give him away. He's hitting, the last numbers I saw from him the other day, he's hitting .067. That's his batting average. His batting average is worse than Stefan's ERA. That's how bad it is.
Oh, you know how to hurt me.
Hey, I said it was worse. I didn't say it was the same.
That's true.
You know who's happy? You know who's cheering right now? It's Mario Mendoza.
Right. change it to the Gallo line.
The Gallo line. Yeah. The Gallo line. Oh, that. I'm. All right. Yeah. I think that should be for our those watching, our listeners at home. We need to change it from the Mendoza line to the Gallo line. Like, actually, okay. So the Mendoza line is still going to be 200, but if you're hitting down below 100, that's the Gallo line. I think that's where we just think is 100 the Gallo line.
You could actually say the Gallo wine.
I see what you did there.
Come on, Greg, give me a chuckle.
I was thinking the exact same thing, but it didn't play, so I didn't say it. So
he's also struggling with how his Giants are doing this year, and the fact that they have basically fallen. It's it's
sad. I mean, they went from like 4.5 back. Well, they did what San Diego did. San Diego was like 2.5 back, and 2 weeks later they're like 13.5 back. Giants did the same thing.
Now the Giants did pick up a shortstop. They traded for Cubs shortstop Dixon Machado and sent right-hander Raynel Espinal to Chicago, which that's not a bad pickup for them.
But they already have an all-star shortstop.
He's injured.
Yeah, he's injured. Yeah, and I think he's out for the season too.
No, Brandon's come back. He's come back.
Oh, is he coming back? Okay.
Might be back as early as next Thursday. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I thought I'd see somewhere that he was going to be out for the year.
Tyro Estrada's on a 7-day concussion for being hit in the head.
I saw
the pitcher last night. Yeah. So
I'm so glad that they're doing more about concussions now. I have to say that is probably one of the biggest things for me is that because
he's lucky. Go ahead.
No, I say because it's so dangerous to not deal with that.
And I was listening to the broadcast yesterday. The amount of line drives hit back at pitchers has really increased.
It has. Go ahead, Craig. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, Estrada's lucky that pitch was a changeup and not a fastball. And we lost it.
No, I'm here. No, you're exactly right. He's very lucky. Okay. Let's see here. What else? The Rays picked up David Peralta from the D-backs. I'll let you have that one first, Stefan. What do you think?
Well, it wouldn't really strike me, except I know the Rays always pluck these guys that, are kind of unsung heroes and tournament stars. So I would put my money on Peralta right now. And plus, I think they're also going for Nelson Cruz, aren't they?
They are. Yeah, they're in the Nelson Cruz. And Peralta has been one of the faces of the Diamondbacks organization. I have a lot of friends here in Arizona that are D-backs fans, and when I saw that trade come across, I started seeing a lot of there were some businesses, Arizona businesses, that were posting because of the support that he had provided them through advertising and stuff like that. But he was a popular face down here in Arizona.
Well, because Tampa got him, he's going to hit the 300 now. Just because he's a Ray. That's what people do when they go to the Rays. They all of a sudden they hit 300.
It is, and Peralta, and the thing of it is Peralta's only hitting 248 this year, which that's not bad.
Well, it's over the Gallo line.
It's over the Gallo line. It's over the Mendoza line. And he's been playing. He's in his 8th season.
So
he's only
got something.
Yeah, but he's got kind of. He's actually about 6 months older than me. He's 34, almost 35. His birthday is, and he'll be 35 in like 2 weeks. So he is getting up there in age. I think he's one of those where it took him a little bit to be able to work up through the minors. But when you look at Peralta's numbers, where I just had his stats, there we go. His batting average, his worst season is this year, and he's hitting 248.
Which is not bad. That's not terrible.
He hit 300 in the shortened 2020 season, 275 in 2019, 293 in 2018 and 2017. He did hit 251 in 2016, but he only played 48 games. I think he was injured that year. And he hit 312 in 2015, 286 in 2014, which is his first year in the league. Like he's a solid left-handed bat. But because he's a little older,
on JBJ, and you got a great Red Sox team now.
Absolutely, I would love it if he was hitting as good as Peralta is, and he plays left field. So I'm curious if Boston made a play on him or not. And I saw some stuff today where there's a lot of people saying that Bloom is trying to start playing more like the Tampa Bay Rays way of more money ball than paying money ball, if you catch my drift. And I hope to God that's not what he's doing, because that's not going to work in Boston. That does not work in Boston.
Mm-mm.
Well, that's why everybody wanted Billy Beane to go to Boston, because I mean, imagine what he did with the A's. Imagine what he could do with like $300 million.
Right.
He made the A's with like a $40 million payroll. And that's so Bloom all of a sudden has like a $200 million payroll to work with.
Absolutely. And I don't understand why Bloom isn't. Our buddy Dan the Dick Warner in the chat said Craig looks like a young Donald Sutherland.
Loved him in Animal House.
I'll take it.
Hey, good job.
Now this is definitely a good pickup for the Rays as far as trying to add a left-handed bat to their roster as they make a wild card push, which is supposed to be what they're trying to do. Because let's be honest, I don't think anybody's going to catch the Yankees in the American League West.
No.
No. Dodgers got Chris Martin from the Cubs. Cards got Jojo Romero from the Phillies.
I just want to mention, I'll give the Yankees all the props in the world, but I also want to say they are the only team in baseball whose pitchers have made every single start this year. They have not missed a start.
Yep.
Which is pretty amazing.
It's amazing.
Well, it just shows how rare it is.
Right.
Because 30 professional teams in baseball and nobody has that. You look at a guy like Chris Sale, who was supposed to be arguably one of the best pitchers of his generation, and he hasn't played but 19 games since the start of the 2019 season because he keeps getting injured.
Right.
This year is off a comebacker. We've seen a few pitchers in the last few weeks get hit off of comebackers. And it's all of these different freak things. The Yankees pitching staff has been very fortunate. And
they've been good. I can't take anything away from them. They've been really good. Even Cortez, he's doing a great job.
Nestor Cortez.
So then you got Montgomery, Cortez, and Cole. That's three very good starters right there.
And Cole started rough, and there was a lot of speculation that his struggles were in relation to getting control without spider tack or any other type of tacky substance for helping with pitch control.
Well, that was a while ago, right?
But start of the season, end of last year, he struggled a lot because of it. And there's a lot of criticism of the Yankees organization because Cole signed a $310 million deal last year.
Yeah. I don't see any way, even if you win a World Series, I don't think that's worth it to me. The Red Sox did the same thing with Sale, but like Dan the Dick said last week, was it really worth it to win that one World Series?
Well, a lot of the moves, I will say, and as much as I hate it as a Red Sox fan, the moves the Yankees are making are not short-term moves.
Right.
I think that for me, the difference is the Yankees are trying to build back into a dynasty. And it's very evident in the moves that they're making that they are playing the long game as well as the current game.
Right.
And so that's why all of a sudden when Soto's on the market, Judge is willing to take a pay cut in that contract that he was working on, which for me is a big deal because that means that some of the costs that Judge is deciding on this team is his, if he's going to get World Series, he's not going to worry so much about getting paid. But if he's not going to win a World Series, he wants to have money to enjoy his extra time off.
Plus, I don't know if the Players Union will let him take a pay cut. I mean, they did that with A-Rod when they were deciding between the Red Sox and the Yankees. They wouldn't let him sign for less because they said that would destroy the entire salary, the tier system of the whole system.
With him,
Good
though,
point.
because of the fact that it's a contract negotiation and it's a contract year, it's not that they're adjusting an existing contract. It's that they're determining the value of the next contract.
Right.
And if Judge wants to give them a hometown discount that factors in the fact that they're getting better talent, he's going to be, playing a longer season because of that and has the chance at some rings. The Players Union can't tell him not to. They can say, "Hey, we wish you wouldn't,"
Right.
because it kind of hurts the paycheck that some of the other guys are going to get. If Judge takes a $300 million deal over 10 years for some reason,
Yeah, and a lot of players play just for the rings. That's all they want.
and Judge and Judge legitimately seems like the type of guy that would be given the opportunity more focused on the championships than the rings than the money, because he knows he's still going to make some good money over the course of his career.
He's also the type of guy who really deserves a ring more than anybody else.
Absolutely.
His season is unbelievable.
His MVP caliber season, this is one of those seasons, like they were talking today, he has the same number of home runs that Barry Bonds did in the year that Barry Bonds broke the home run record.
What's he got, 38?
At this point.
38?
No, he's in the 40s, 41, 42. Yeah, he's hit a few in the last couple of days. So he's up there. I'm sure if Dan's still watching, he'll probably post it in the chat here in a second. But yeah, he's 41, 42. He's gotten a couple. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. Clearly an MVP.
It's
probably
42.
going to be unanimous. Yeah, 42. Okay.
42 home runs, 91 RBIs.
I mean, realistically, you're probably going to get somewhere between 60 and 65 home runs out of him. 150, 125 to 150 RBIs. What more can you ask for?
And a good outfielder.
He covers center field. He's the best center fielder in the league right now. I can't think of anybody that's better than him. And that hurts as a Red Sox fan. But right now, there's not really anybody that's playing better than Judge.
No.
It's just plain and simple. Let's see. We talked about that. All right. I'm going to look really quick I'm going to scour Twitter, take a look, see if anything else is dropped before we wrap up tonight. So I'm going to play ads for a couple of the shows that are on Pinfall. You guys can take a couple of minutes to run to the bathroom if you want, while I take a look, see if I can find anything else. Then we'll be back to wrap it up.
Okay, I'll put my pants back on.
I appreciate that. And we'll be right back with you.
No one pulls up like we do. No one does us like we do. Always go hard with this crew. Welcome to the show, let's make moves. Nothing's gonna stop us, it's not to get rough. Turn the whole room up, it's never enough. Let's go, 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 let's go.
All right. That first commercial was for Sports Report, which airs Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Pinfall Network. That features me, my buddy Will Morgan, Dan the Dick Warner, Gene, the Raiders fan Simmons, unfortunately, as we dive into all things sports related. And then following the Sports Report is the show for that second commercial, Sports Report After Dark, which runs 11:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday nights. That is me and Dan the Dick Warner as we dive into the human side of sports, all things sports and mental health related, and sometimes just talk about whatever the hell we want. Definitely check those out right here on the Pinfall Network. And we are back. So I was looking through, and I'm not seeing anything else major that's been announced. So we're going to go ahead and dive really quick on into some speculation. Craig, I'll give you this one first. Do you think the Giants make any other moves this year? If so, what do you think?
Off-season Aaron Judge. Bam!
You've just given up all hope on everything, so you're just reaching for the stars at this point.
Why not
We
Soto?
got the money. The team can show him the money.
Well, why not Judge and Soto?
No, the Giants have played.
The Giants won't spend that much money. No, the Giants won't spend that much money.
Well, you know what they've done is because they were so good last year, they've really built up expectations in their fan base.
Yeah,
it's a sharp fall from 107 wins to where they're at right now.
And their fan base still remembers, 2010, 12, and 13 when they won it all.
Mm-hmm.
So they have this winning thing in their head that their team's a winner, which they're not.
No.
Sorry, Craig.
They're not
That's
right
the truth.
now. And didn't I hear Jock Peterson's injured too?
Yeah, it's concussion. Yeah. You got two players out with concussions, Peterson and Tyrell.
Wasn't Jock's that he hit a wall, like outfield wall? He was running hit an outfield wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fought the wall and the wall won. I remember that. Okay.
Bobby Fuller 4.
Yeah.
Bobby Fuller 4.
Count it. Okay. All right. So, Stefan, I'll kick this to you. Is there anything you can think of that Boston can do at this point to save the season?
Well, I don't know. I think someone like Shohei would be good because he would solve a couple of their problems. He would solve a batting problem and an outfield problem.
And a pitching problem.
And a
pitching.
Problem, right.
Yeah, and that's why I'm hoping that Boston makes a play for Shohei. I don't care whether it's now or in the offseason.
Right.
Whenever you can get him.
Get him.
Like and Shohei in Boston is good for the league.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
much more coverage.
They are a bigger market team. And and the league likes Shohei as one of the faces of baseball.
And I
baseball
think
fans like Shohei.
I think Boston has a pretty big Japantown.
Yeah,
I think their Japanese population is pretty big.
They do. There is a decent. Well, I mean, there's the Japanese population on the East Coast. The coastal areas have a much higher Japanese population than anywhere else, and so it benefits the league to play to that. Whether that's the Mariners, which obviously has a huge Japanese following. I know you and I have talked about that. Or if they go with the East Coast, again, whether it's the Yankees, the Mets, the Sox, I think the Sox or the Yankees ideally is the most beneficial. But speaking purely out of jealousy, I don't want Shohei to go to the Yankees.
Not with that right field wall. No way.
No. Mm-mm. I do not want Shohei to go to the Yankees.
Well, what do you think the Angels are going to ask for in return?
They want at least 2 to 3 MLB ready guys or prospects.
I mean, I would give him Brand Bello.
Bello made a nice improvement his last start.
But
I think he's
in relief last time, didn't he?
Yeah, he came in after Austin Davis. And he threw and I watched most of his outing. And he looked a lot better this time but he still hasn't gotten that first major league win.
Well,
And
I think, and I'm speaking from experience, what I think is that when a player gets called up to the big leagues, his first outing, a pitcher, should be in relief. Because, I mean, my first outing was a start, and I was lost.
and you got ate up.
First outing was a start. I mean, if
Right.
you put him in relief, you get the feeling, you get all the sensation, then you've done it before.
Just a 1 inning middle reliever scenario, 3 outs, 15
Right.
pitches, 15, 20 pitches, that sort of thing.
Yeah, could you experience the whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Get the cobwebs out, because if it's especially with pitchers, you get called up. Chances are you're out of rotation, so it's either been a few more extra days or hasn't been enough. One inning, 3 outs. Get it loose. Have your outing. Give up your first home run.
You're
get out of
hired.
your system.
You're
and
hired.
then, yeah. It makes sense.
Angels could be looking at some dark days ahead, because if they lose Ohtani, and Trout looks like he might be coming up with a chronic back problem now.
Actually, that was one of the other final things we were going to talk about. Trout actually put out today. I was reading this on ESPN's website. He found another doctor. So ESPN reported that Mike Trout visited with Dr. Robert Watkins, a back specialist and co-director of the Marina Spine Clinic in Los Angeles. And they have gotten enough work in already that he's going to begin rotational exercises on Wednesday.
Oh, good. That's good news.
So definitely good news for him.
He's good for baseball.
Yeah, and good for baseball.
He won't be game ready, though.
He won't. It's probably a couple of weeks after once he starts rotational exercises. Couple of days later, he'll start working with the bat, but we won't see full swings and stuff like that for another couple of weeks. I doubt we see him. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think it would be smart for them. I mean, they're not going anywhere. Just shut them down.
And that's the thing, is there's no reason at this point. There's no reason not to.
Right.
Yep.
You're not fighting for wild card position or even division position. The Angels went from one of the hot teams that was going up year in and year out for wins to just completely crumbling in the blink of an eye.
Right.
And so I hope that for their sake that the moves that they make, if they move Shohei, that from everything that I'm seeing is they are trying to not do a rebuild. But
so you're saying they need some major league ready ball players,
and that's why I think he doesn't get moved until after the season.
Oh, yeah.
And Washington, with all of this about with all this about Soto in Washington, he still has 2 years left on his contract.
That's what makes him so valuable.
And so
it's unheard of to have a future Hall of Famer, under control for 2 years.
Right.
It's unheard of.
It is. And so for the Nationals, they don't have to just take an offer because Soto wants out, because he does.
Yeah.
But they can say, all right.
I'm really surprised that Martinez hasn't gotten fired yet.
We'll see what happens.
They won the World Series, 2 years ago? And now they're in last place?
But remember, he's working for two
pieces, but still.
He's basically working for two owners right now. You've got the current owners and the future owners. The future owners want Soto gone. They don't want him there when they buy the club.
Oh.
They made that very clear. So
is it just because of the high value that he's going to pull? They don't want to have to spend that money right off.
Right. They don't want. Okay. That's a lot of. They don't want to drop that much cash on one player. They want him gone so they can rebuild.
They're spending all their cash on the actual team.
Well, and here's the thing that blows me away about that, is when you look at the actual value of that kind of a contract, you're looking at, so they were saying like the team that in some of the reports about where Soto's going to land, they're saying that the team that is going to take him in trade needs to be able to offer him a 15-year, $540 million contract.
What's he, 22, 23?
So when you look at that, that's 36. That's only $36 million a year.
How old is he? 22.
22.
Yep.
Locking in a one of the best young talents in the game for
generational
until he's 40.
I mean, he could bring you a couple rings
for $36 million a year. A lot of the big names now are making over 40. Right. Why would you not want that? That's a solid face of advertising for your club for 15 years. What's the problem?
The problem is that Soto turned it down because that's not enough money for in 15 years. That he'll be making top dollar. So I mean, he wants more. He wants higher money, less years.
So they got to front load it.
Well, I mean, and that's what's any team that does a 15-year contract with him, it's still front loaded. Like it's front loaded. You're going to see you're going to see if a 15-year contract at $540 million, but those first 10 years is most of that $540 million. That's what's going to happen. Is you're going to see 50 to 60 a year for those 10 years, and then the rest of it in that last.
I mean, the fact he won't his prime career for another 5 years.
Yeah, at 28 is about right.
He's going into his prime. He's started to move up, but it's still
He's 5 years away from
if he improves like Devers improved, that's a huge. Devers made a huge improvement.
Oh yeah, and I think that's why the buzz around this kid is so high. Is a lot of teams with their young talent that are just that early promise and showing at a younger age that they can play in the majors. Just like they did with Tatis, just like they've done with some of these other players. They're getting him into longer. Wander Franco, yeah. They're trying to get him into longer deals so that they have control of them for longer.
Well, I think Baltimore was the first team to do that with Longoria.
Mm-hmm.
When he was young, they signed him to a long-term contract.
Yeah. I remember that. It's, but because the counter is if you don't put him in a long-term deal, you end up potentially pricing yourself out of keeping him on your roster for that amount of time. And somebody like that, you want them as a franchise guy. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens with this, but I'm still of the belief that we won't see Soto or Shohei move until after the season, because I don't think there's enough incentive for those teams to take a smaller offer when if you wait until the offseason, more teams are going to be willing to provide a better crop, because both of these teams are looking for, MLB-ready players as part of the trade. How many teams want to provide decent players when they're making a postseason push, which is why you are trading right now for Soto or Shohei, is because of the fact you want them function into that postseason push. So why are you going to trade for them but give up some of your other core talent? That's why you're where you're at and in this position to make that push. If you do it in the offseason, you can backfill and give everybody time to shake hands and kiss babies and all of that and make friends before the start of the season. What do you think, Craig?
Makes sense. It makes sense. I tell you, the Giants still have got an outstanding farm system, and they've got major league ready players ready to go. That from the relief pitcher all the way to Marco Luciano, and they've got a good crop of young players that could step right in.
Absolutely.
So, but it's I'd be happy if they wait until the season's over, because then the Giants still have a shot, I think.
Oh, by the way, Craig, Giants won today 4-0. Carlos Rondon.
Yeah, I saw him across the ticker. Yeah.
That's good.
Yep. That's a Sunday night ESPN game too.
That's good.
That was
Suck it,
Rondon.
Dodgers.
That was Rondon.
Yep. Suck it, Dodgers.
Boston won today, thankfully. After giving up 2 in the second to the Brewers, Boston ended up scoring 7 runs in between, and then a 5-run fifth inning and a 2-run sixth. Boston beat the Brewers today 7-2. Who got the W? That's my question. Hold on. So Josh Winkowski got the W, and that is the first Red Sox starter to get the win in a month.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeesh.
Yep.
I mean, Eovaldi would have gotten it yesterday, except his bullpen blew it for him because he left after 5 with the lead.
Yeah. It's they're not holding it down like they should. Like the talent dictates they should. And so it makes me question if it's a leadership issue, if there's just, a couple of pieces are missing. If you grab Shohei and Trey Mancini, Boston's a different team. Just those 2 pickups, they're a different team.
I agree. Wholeheartedly. Definitely.
Okay. All right. So, yeah. I haven't seen anything else. I'm just looking at Twitter now. I'm still not seeing anything else come through that makes me think that we're going to see any other any other deal popping up today in the show. For more coverage on trade deadline moves, you can catch me tomorrow night on the Sports Report 10 Eastern right here on the Pinfall Stream channels. And then after that, 11:30 Eastern, Sports Report After Dark with me and Dan the Dick Warner. Before we wrap up tonight, guys, any final thoughts? Stefan, I'll let you have this one first.
I like Dan the Dick.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, I had a good time with him on that podcast. I mean, he knows his stuff.
Oh, yeah. Ridiculously smart for how much of a pain in the ass of a person he is.
Yes. And a big Yankee fan.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why he's a pain in the ass. But I've known Dan for 8 years now. I met him, because I met him in 2015, so over 7 years. Great dude. One of the people that I trust with my life. One of my best friends.
Seems like it.
All right, Craig, what about you, man? Any final thoughts for the state of our beautiful game?
I'm just glad to be back off of hiatus, man. 63 and moving is a wrong age.
It's good to have you back.
Wrong age.
It's
good to be back.
It is good to have you back. Stefan and I don't have a lot to talk about. Being a pitcher and catcher, we don't. Yeah. I had to keep him from saying a whole bunch of mean things about you, but I mean, outside of that, everything was fine.
You had to keep me from saying it so he could say it.
I'm sure they're well earned.
Well, again, guys, thank you so much for joining me again this week, as always. And for those of you watching and listening after the fact, we appreciate you as well. You can always reach out to us through our Facebook page, The Winter Meetings Podcast, and give us ideas for things you want to hear us talk about. Just comment on posts and talk with us. We'd love to talk with you. And we'll be back next week to dive into more baseball and wrap up trade deadline and start to work towards the postseason. You guys, everybody have a great week.
You too. Take care.
Night, everybody.